So welcome. My name is Tracy Hansen, and I'm with the Washington Center for Women in Business. And today we're going to talk. I think that all of you are in a great place. I'm hopefully, Tina, if you are having audio issues, you can even type in kind of what your business idea is, and I'd love to be able to customize some of this towards you. But really, we're kind of at that stage, which I think it sounds like Aranza and Virginia are there at kind of that wanting to
Tracy,
plan. Yeah. Oh, hi,
uh,
Tina.
this hi, this is Tina. I just figured out how to use it now.
Oh, good.
I am a full charge bookkeeper, and so I have the opportunity now to go back to school and actually get my bachelor's degree. And so I'm thinking of becoming a CPA,
Okay.
and I want to basically open up a business and do books and for small businesses and things like that, and um, go down that avenue um,
Wonderful.
f-
Great.
for companies and help them out. And so um, that's the avenue I want to take.
And are you working right now?
um,
Or
Currently I'm not, but the college is actually giving me an opportunity to work part-time, so I'm going to do some interviewing there and and possibly get a job there at the college.
okay. 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 So let's go ahead. I was just checking. I know we had some people register that were outside of Washington, so I was just looking to see if all of you were in Washington. It sounds like you are. Two of you are actually really close to me. So let's go ahead and get started. This is being recorded, so if there's anything you wanted to listen to again or revisit, I'll be sending that out after this. So you're welcome to listen to that. It is a pretty small group, so it's okay if you keep yourself unmuted. I would love to have this be a conversation and have you ask your questions and things like that. However, if you are in a noisy background, if you just mute yourself, but everybody sounded good, so I think we'll be okay on that. If you are having trouble hearing me or any of the other attendees, a lot of times if you look at your GoToWebinar pane, there's one that says audio. And if you call in, a lot of times there's better audio. So if you're having issues, I would try that instead of your computer speakers. And then lastly, if you have questions, you can raise your hand if you feel like you need to. Usually that's for our bigger classes. You can type it in the chat box if you don't want to talk about it. But like I said, with this small group, I think it'd be great if you guys just unmute it and interrupt me at any time to ask questions. Um, so kind of what are we going to do today? Basically, we're going to talk about business feasibility. We'll kind of go over three big pieces to decide if your business is feasible and what you can do from there. And then kind of are you ready to run the business? And then one second here. Place. Okay. Are you ready to run the business? And then a little bit about the Washington Center for Women in Business and how we can work together to make that dream come true. And then I have a tool that you can actually start today or whenever you want, because it sounds like some of you are definitely chomping at the bit to get started. So I'm going to start out with, why are we here talking? Why do you want to talk to us? Is maybe the better question. So the Washington Center for Women in Business is funded in part by the U.S. Small Business Administration. And the SBA basically has tasked us with helping women who either want to start businesses or if they're already in business, help them make sure that they are successful, more profitable, and we can really go over a myriad of topics. So like today, it's going to be startup planning, but when you're in business, it can be that marketing, the sales, understanding your financial statements, cash flow, business plans, growth plans, all that kind of thing. And then we also can definitely be here for motivation and accountability as well. And we provide kind of all of that technical assistance through either workshops like this, whether online or in person, but a lot of it is with our one-on-one coaching. We have a business coach, Christine Buckley, who you can all meet with. Either we are located in Lacey, Washington, but you can come to us in person, or we can do a phone or Skype call, because I know, Tina, Lacey is pretty far drive for you.
It's okay. I used to work in Portland.
Oh, okay. So anyway, we can make it work. We really try to make it flexible so that we work with your guys' schedules and geographically. We cover the whole state of Washington. The first time you meet with us, it is free, because we kind of want to make sure we hear from you, that we're going to be a great resource for you, a great partner with you. And then if you want to continue, it's $25 for an hour session after that, or 50 minutes. But there are scholarships available. So if that $25 a session just isn't feasible, and a lot of times it isn't in startup, just let me know, and I have a scholarship process that I'd be happy to get out to you. And so this is our contact information as well. Again, I'm Tracy Hansen. When you come to us for actual business coaching, you'll be working with Christine, and you can either schedule appointments directly with her, or you can contact our office coordinator, Ryan, who can get you on her schedule. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So first of all, let's talk about kind of assessing you as a person. A lot of small business, and I think that kind of it was talked about even, am I self-directed? So, Aranza, you kind of talked about you're not doing anything. So I know a lot of that comes from you're not sure what to do next. And so hopefully this will answer some of those questions. But then when it comes time to actually doing the work, you have to ask yourself, am I going to be able to find the ways to make it, answer my questions, which all of you did. You're all here, so that's great. And then can I actually put what I learn into action in a reasonable amount of time? And as far as time, that can really be different things to different people. Some people, you might be saying, as long as I launch a business within the next year, that's a good timeline for me. Some of you might be like, I want to be, launched immediately, within the week, within the month, after the new year. So this can be different to every person, as long as you're able to do that. A big one is, can I sell? So a lot of people don't like to think of themselves as salespeople, but no matter what industry you're in, you have to be able to sell. However, you can sell your own way. So you don't need to be that, greasy car salesman, that all comes to mind when we think about car salesmen. But can you sell in your own way? Or maybe can you come up with, if you just cannot do it, can you come up with a plan to have somebody else help you sell? Obviously, there are things that go along with that. Obviously, you'd have to pay them. There are taxes, there are forms, there's a lot of things when you have employees. So usually in a startup, you kind of have to sell yourself. And that's kind of, both for Virginia, really for all of you, you have to sell yourself and your expertise, and then also the actual services that you're providing. So then you also have to think, can I live with uncertainty, and can I live with variable income? So in early stages of business especially, I'm sure that you're all aware there are highs and there are lows. There might be some months that you bring in a lot of money, some that you don't bring in any. So can you budget and make sure that you're living within the means? And then does it make you uncomfortable if you don't bring in any income for a month? You have to think about, does that fit with your life and your own bills, because we all have bills to pay, right? That kind of leads into our next one. Will the demands of having a business fit with my personal life? Pretty much all small business owners, but especially in the early stages, you're going to be putting in long hours to get it launched, to do the research, to make sure all of everything is neat and tidy, and as far as organizationally, and that you have customers, right? So you have to make sure that if you have, children at home, if you have another job, if you have, that kind of thing, think about the time that it's going to take to plan and launch the business, And are you going to be able to do it? And again, that kind of comes back to, well, I only have, a couple hours a week, so it's okay if this business doesn't launch for a year versus, some of you that might want to launch it sooner. Are you able to actually commit those hours in a timely manner to put that? And then, are you committed to gaining the skills you need? I think for all of you, the answer is yes, because you're here. But really, it is. This isn't the only place that you're going to be learning things. Small business is definitely the life of learning and discovery. So are you committed to gaining the skills? And I think it's also important to note, a lot of you're going into business because you're passionate about what you do and that you're good at what you do, but maybe you're not good at all of the things. Maybe you're not good at social media or understanding your finances. But all those things are really important, and even if just by ignoring them, they're not going to go away. And that's really what we would like to be there for you is those gaps, those skill gaps that you have. How can you bridge those? And it might be with working with a coach like us or with another SBA partner. It might be hiring somebody that has skills complementary to yours. There's a lot of ways that you can gain those skills, but you definitely can't ignore them. So now, is there any questions kind of on the personal assessment side? I think most of this is pretty straightforward. Oh, yeah. Aranza, I see you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that, like if you have any slides or something, I wasn't missing them or anything because I didn't see anything, just your voice, which is fine, but I
Oh,
just
can
wanted
you
to double
not
check.
see these? Oh my gosh.
I don't see the slides. That is why.
I do have
Now
slides.
I,
Can
s-
you guys see them now?
yes, now I see them.
Now you have something to look at, not just have to listen to my voice. Oh, thank you for
Yeah,
bringing that up.
and you
Um,
will be able to send this to us, right, later.
yes, I
Perfect.
will be sending this to you as well as the recording. So
Wonderful. Thank
nothing
you so
really. This is the only.
There we go.
Yeah, I had some on the Women's Business Center and that kind of thing, but I'll send
Yeah,
that to you so you have our contact information, all that kind of good stuff.
awesome. Thank you.
So really, then market assessment. So, and I think this is, all of you will want to spend a little time thinking about this. But really, the first question is going to be, what market need am I addressing? And that can be an actual need, somebody, for instance, bookkeeping, all obviously small businesses need their books kept, whether they have somebody in house to do it, whether they do it, or they hire somebody out. That has to happen. However, something, like the children's book, does somebody need a children's book to live? I mean, not necessarily. Does it make quality of life better? Yes. Do people love reading to kids? Absolutely. So there's opportunities there. You just have to figure out what need you're addressing for your customers, and are they willing to pay for it? I think that everybody here has a great idea. Sometimes some of these have some fun, some far out ones, which are really fun. Um, but but yeah, so are there customers out there in your area that is willing to buy what you're trying to sell? And then what's unique about your product or your service? And this one, I guess I would like to hear, what do you think makes your business idea unique compared to some of your competitors out there? Anybody willing to go?
Well, I guess I'll start. The market that I'm considering addressing is nonprofits and small businesses. And I think one of the things that makes my um, service unique is that I do have this background in strategic planning. So I think a lot of communications consultants start with, kind of a one size fits all, but they don't understand how to um, help organizations think about what message it is that they want to communicate and how it fits in with their overall strategy. And I think my background in planning really helps me um, to be able to assist with that process. So it's not just, the words themselves, but the thought, the thinking behind the message and how it fits into the overall strategy for the organization.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll kind of talk about that one size fits all here in a second. I think that's a great way to think, and I think that those selling points definitely make your business unique. Tina or Aranza, do either you want to share what you think might make your business or your expertise unique?
Well, I know for myself, and this is Tina, um, I would be doing the accounting on the cloud, and they would be able to access their books, by logging in. And it's not something that they would have to wait to see what I am doing, because they could access it right away. It's something that is readily available, whereas before they'd have to wait until I'm done, and then I send the information to them for them to see it. So it's so much easier nowadays because of technology that it's right there and it's available. So it's you know it's awesome because
Yeah,
of the technology now.
yeah. I absolutely think so. I think both of you are thinking about it really well. A lot of times we hear what's unique about my product or services. I have great customer service, or we have the best prices, things like that, which aren't necessarily unique. Everybody wants to have, hopefully, everybody wants to have the best, customer service or customer experience. But I think you guys are thinking about it in a really wonderful way and kind of putting your little spin and really addressing that market specifically. So that's great. Now, Aranza, are you self-publishing your book, or is it available through Amazon or anything like that?
Yeah, it's actually I'm self-publishing
Okay.
as of now, and it is available in Amazon right now.
Okay.
But it's just I haven't really explored since I have a family, so the time, right? Because we all have
Yeah.
responsibilities, I guess. But
Mhm.
yeah, it is, and that is why I decided to jump in this webinar too, because I felt that I launched this book and I was in this momentum and I was like, oh, this is great, and now suddenly life got busy and kind of like push it away for a little bit, and now it's like, well, but I'm doing illustrations and I'm doing all these things and I want to continue doing this because
Yeah.
I'm passionate about it. And
Great.
besides that, I have my day job. I want to pursue this. So I don't know, I'm going to illustration classes, which I want to take my drawings to a different level. Also, I think that a lot of social media, it's so important, and you had to make time for it, right? But I feel that customer service, the fact of being available, that you're maybe I don't see myself like this is like around, like it's a marathon. It's going to take a few years to get into people that get to know you and get to know your work and get to know your books. But with social media and consistency and I don't know, and like I say, being available to whatever events you need to book. And
Mhm.
I think I'm not sure if I'm on the right track with this.
Okay.
But I don't know how uniqueness, because there are so many books out there, but I think it would be also, selling your personality, being available,
Mhm.
being a great customer service. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. And then when we think about competitors too, all of that, luckily you're on Amazon, so, you're not
I
necessarily
am.
competing there. Um, but
I am
when we,
I am in Amazon. I haven't actually
yeah,
pursued like yet. I haven't pursued the going for like the publisher, which we call it the traditional publishing. I haven't done that just because I want to just kind of like do it on my own since I have family and a job and see what it was, would take me. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
Great. Good. Okay.
And Barnes and Nobles too, actually.
Oh, good. That's wonderful. I think that that's all really great stuff. I'm excited for
Yeah.
you.
Thanks.
So that's a great thing to look at. So I'm glad that we're all thinking about, that uniqueness. Kind of when you're in the market, there's also who's your competitors. And for Tina, for instance, obviously competitors would be, other local CPA firms, things like that. But also think outside the box with competitors. So what does your your direct competitors, and then what's maybe a different approach to it? So again, for Tina, for the CPA firm, your competitor might be somebody hiring their own internal bookkeeper, right? Or having somebody on staff do that kind of thing. For Aranza, it might be obviously somebody buying a different book. It might be coloring books. It might be a toy instead of that, that gift for a child. And Danica, I see that you've joined us. I don't know if you have audio, but I would love to hear about your business idea so that we can bring you into the conversation. Well, you're welcome to unmute yourself. But really kind of think about how can you be unique in the marketplace as well? Because rarely is it smart to go head to head with a competitor that's already established in the community or in the nation, depending on where your market is. But sometimes it's nice to just scooch over a little bit and go to a slightly different audience. Virginia, I like how you said, you have nonprofits and small businesses as one of your target customers, and I think that's great. Not just saying, oh, I'm here for any business, any organization, but you're saying, okay, nonprofits and small businesses, and because I have this strategic planning background, so be really specific when it comes to your competitors and then your customers as well, which kind of leads us into our next. Oh, my button doesn't work. Who are my customers, and are there going to be enough of them? The person I usually present this with, she's in a meeting today, but she kind of talks about the customer avatar. And avatar is a term that's used to imagine your perfect customer, and that can be really specific and really tailored. Besides, I know that we kind of talked about, small businesses being target customers for both Tina and Virginia. Would either of you, or Aranza or Danica, want to talk about maybe a really specific customer group that you're going after? Have you thought about that at all yet? It might not be just small businesses, but maybe you're really good at doing small businesses that have government contracts because you understand that kind of accounting, or something like that.
Well, one of my customers is my husband, and his business is automotive repair, and so I do his books, so
Great.
automatically, but I don't get paid for his.
Just one of the perks of marriage.
Yes, and also I audit one of my former bosses' property management company's books, and I do get paid for that one, but it's only a small fee because I'm just auditing those, and if I find a mistake, I just fix it.
Yeah.
And but it's something, and it keeps me fresh, and in my skills and stuff. So it's kind of nice, and then I just present that back to him and stuff, and which is cool, and but Other than that, those are the only two that I do. But that's it for now.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful. Great.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Danica.
Hi. So I know you said that you were talking about like maybe specific customers.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't
What
want
is
to go.
it? Can you give us a really quick, what is your business that you're trying to launch?
Well, my business, I mean, I'm literally at the beginning of the business plan and everything, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that it's a children's clothing line, and
Okay.
I don't really want to go too deep into it because I don't have like everything on lock, but my
Yeah.
daughter inspired me to go into it because I'll just say she was born a preemie and it was super hard for me to find clothes for her. So I know maybe you guys are familiar with the brand Carter's.
Yeah.
They have clothes for preemies, but it's maybe like two or three outfits, and then I'll try to wait maybe a month or two, and they usually have like the same clothes, or it's not really it didn't really change. So um, I'm like, well, I can go into a business of making clothes for children like that. So
Okay.
that's pretty
Great. So again, thinking about who your customers are going to be, it'd be pretty wide to say, anybody who has, a preemie baby, that, needs those small things. That's a
Mhm.
pretty wide customer base. It might be more something like somebody, a fashion forward person that has that premature child, but they
Right,
really care about how they look and having changing outfits and things like that, and you might even think about how much that person makes.
right,
Does your target customer, in order to, and this not only for Danica, but maybe for Virginia as well, or really anybody, um, what income bracket do they need to be in to be a good customer of yours? Is there a specific sex that might, gender that might be more willing to buy your services? I guess that, and one thing to note, obviously we're not always experts in your industry specifically. We kind of have those fundamental basics things. So, I'm not sure if, do moms buy more baby clothes than dads? I'm not really sure. That would be my
right,
guess, because I would love to buy baby clothes all the time, I feel like. But so maybe, if when you're thinking of that avatar, that perfect image, that of a perfect customer, maybe it's a 20s to 30s woman that makes X amount of money, has had a premature child, or maybe, a family of a premature child. So kind of thinking about that, and if other people buy your products or services, of course you want those people as well. But the thing is when you tailor your customer, and you know who that customer might be, and there might be several. You might have, you don't want to have too many avatars, but maybe you have two or three. Maybe it's the wife of, or the mom, it might be the grandma. It might be several different things. Or with Tina, you might have your small business automotive, and you have really specific ways that they keep books, and then you also have something else on the other side. But the reason you want to have that is because when it comes to crafting your marketing messages, you
mhm,
can actually craft something that speaks to somebody specifically.
Mhm.
So, when I maybe I'm on all of your guys' mailing lists, and your email, when it comes out, feels like it speaks to me when it says, "Hey Tracy, there's this perfect product for you specifically because of, all of your CPA, all my bookkeeping is in the cloud. That's specifically for me, and whatever else is in the message. Obviously, I would need a little time on the marketing message, but when we are, as as humans, or at least as Americans, we're prejudiced to specialties, and we want to feel like something is made for us specifically. Now, will you have other customers that are not automotive repair? Yeah, hopefully, or whatever you think that perfect customer is for you. But definitely you want to have a couple, at least one in mind, so that you can be specific and really go out there and find them and make them feel like this is the perfect service for them, because they might have a lot of CPA firms to choose from or communication consultants. Does that make sense? Do we have any questions on that?
No, it makes total sense.
Yeah, it makes
Great.
sense.
Yep.
So the last little assessment we're going to do is your financial assessment. So can you earn enough income to meet your needs? I think the most important thing is kind of get a figure in your head. What is it that you need to survive, you personally, and then your business expenses as well. Projections. Well, this can be a really rough number at this point when you're getting down into the weeds and you're meeting with a business coach. We can help you get a better projection of like what your business costs might be, but what your household costs, what your mortgage is or your rent is and your car payment, and your other living expenses. So how much do you need to survive? And then how many, sessions or books or clothes do you need to sell in order to get there? And then again, that can be a really rough number. You're like, okay, I think I'm selling them, or like Aranza, how much your books are selling for and how much of that you get since your books are already out there. So how many books do you have to sell a year to make that bottom line? And is it realistic? Is it 2 million books? Well, then we might need to figure out a different way to go, or other revenue streams to start looking at. So thinking about that. And then also, do you have any funds to put towards starting and running your business? There's a myth out there that I hear all the time, we all do, about grants for women-owned business startups. And the thing is, there aren't any. There are some competition funding. Have you seen those pitch competitions, kind of like Shark Tank? Those do go on locally. So, if you're I would definitely recommend signing up for SBA emails. They kind of send out links to those when they're local. So that might be a way to get funding. Usually, again, it might not be a startup, or it needs to have really good business plan and projections set up in order for that. There are definitely loan programs for small businesses, whether it's an SBA loan or it's a conventional loan from a bank. There are investment groups out here. If you're in the Thurston area, I think, was it Virginia and Tina Virginia and Aranza, I think, are local here, called the Think Network, the Thurston Investment Network, where you can pitch to local investors that want to support small businesses. So there's events every once in a while for that. But for most loans, you're going to be expected to bring in at least a third of money. Nobody wants to necessarily fund you 100%, especially for a startup. And because really the banks are risk adverse. And you might be too. You might not want to put, your house or, some sort of collateral on the line. But if you don't believe in the business enough to put 30% in, why should they put anything in? So think about that and think about how you can raise at least, you need some to be bankable at all. In order to, I'll pull up the last bullet here, additional funds that you need. You also have to have a good credit score. So things like, if you need credit repair, if you have a lot of outstanding debt, all those things can go into that as well. I will say there are grants out there sometimes for new businesses, but it's usually for research and development for new technology. And sometimes the government they're called SBIR funds, SBIR grants, and I think Small Business Innovation Research. I can't think of what the IR stands for off the top of my head. But so there are some grants out there, but they're not for just any small business. It's those people that are creating new technology, new apps, new products, things like that, generally speaking. but we do have a program here that specializes in that. If you think that that's where your bread and butter might be, let me know. So that's kind of it for the financial assessment. Are there any questions on that piece?
Okay, so you said you said it was the SBR for technology companies and things like that?
Yeah, SBIR grants, they're federally funded grants.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so, I don't know, off the top of my head, a clothing line I don't think would fit. I don't know if maybe you're thinking other business ideas that you have.
Oh, you know what? My fiance has a business in that, so I was just that just made me think
Yeah.
of him. So
Yeah, definitely. So we have another program, and I don't have their contact information out, but I'm going to make a note really quickly to send out. It's called PTAC, the Procurement Technical Assistance Center, and they're also a technical assistance program like us. However, they specialize in small businesses who want to do work with the government, either at the local, the state, or the federal level. And so part of that is those SBIR grants. So anyway, we have their statewide program as well, and so I'll send out their contact information in case you want to pass that along for his business, or any friends, or if any of you think, hey, I definitely think that the government needs my services, that we can definitely partner all together on that.
What was the acronym again? PTAC, PTAC, was it?
Yep. Procurement Technical Assistance Center, PTAC. And I'll send that out. You guys don't have to remember that. But PTAC, it's WashingtonPTAC.org if you want to look up their website. Okay. So, I had that little guy begging for a loan. Really, and what I want to say, you might have heard horror stories about getting an SBA loan, and there is paperwork to fill out, but no matter what kind of loan there is, there's going to be a lot of paperwork included, and we can help you make sure that all of your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed, and you don't have to do that alone. We can make sure that you're kind of looking at the whole story while you're putting together loan packages. So we've kind of gone over the personal assessment, your market assessment, who your customers are, and that financial piece. So hopefully in the middle there, when you have all those three pieces, you have a feasible business idea, which is what we all want. And I think, again, listening to all of the ideas that you have, I think that you all are going to be in a great place, and excited to hear more from all of you, really. One thing I want to show, let me switch screens here really quickly, because we're about in my little next steps section. Can you guys see this website? It says the Governor's Office for Regulatory and Innovation Assistance.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the ORIA website. They're a Washington State agency, and they have this website that's all about helping small businesses, plan for starting, but then also when you're running your business. So I think that this is going to be a really great tool. Some of the planning, a lot of the planning is kind of what we just got over, starting to think. But when you're thinking about, when you're ready to kind of actually start it, and again, you don't have to do any of this alone. We're happy to help every step of the way. But if you go through the Start Your Business, going through the different legal structures there are, LLCs, general partnerships, sole proprietors, all that kind of stuff, information is in here. If you read this and you're still not clear what the best option is for you, we're happy to talk about that. But getting registered, business locations, permitting, all that information is here on this website. So I definitely wanted to make sure that you guys had this, and I'll send out this link to you guys as well. And so let's see here. Going back to this guy, if you guys will notice, there's a section in your go-to training pane called Materials, and there's a little one-page business plan PDF. If you wanted to print that out, or you can do it on the computer as well, but kind of think about it, goes over a lot of the questions that we just went over. Oops, you guys see the wrong pane. You're seeing all my notes. goes over a lot of what we just went over, but you can kind of organize it. You can take a minute to think about it and fill that out. And when you're done with that, and if you have questions on it, you're like, I really don't know the answer to that. That's okay as long as you've thought about it. But at that point, then let's bring you in for a one-on-one coaching session and go over it and make it more robust. So what I would say would be the next steps would be definitely that business plan, and then I'll reach out to all of you to see how many of you might want to do one-on-one coaching with Christine about how to actually get launched, and kind of fill in any of these gaps that you're finding on the business plan. Now, if you're not interested in the one-on-one coaching, that's absolutely fine. Won't hurt our feelings one bit. We do have training scheduled on a variety of topics. All of our topics are at this website here, our WCWB.org/calendar. But that's our in-person and our webinar stuff. Our upcoming Let's Talk Business ones, these are our January topics. This January 16th one is going to be a repeat of today. So unless you really liked listening to me talk, you can probably skip that one. But here are some great ones. Especially, I'm really looking forward to this January 24th one, if any of you are able to make it. That PTAC program that I just talked about, their counselor out of the Tri-Cities actually is going to be talking about women-owned certifications, how those can help or hurt, or is it worth your time type thing. So I'm excited about that. And I think it was Ronza that talked about social media. So there's going to be one on social media as well coming up in February. So with that, are there any questions? Is there anything that you really were hoping that we would cover today? Really, my goal was to get you thinking about things, to get you this one-page business plan tool, and then hopefully we can have those one-on-one conversations so that this conversation can actually be 100% tailored to your business idea.
Well, actually, you've answered one of my basic questions. I do have a meeting scheduled with Christine next month, and I was kind of wondering what I should do to prepare, but this business plan form looks like what I need to do.
Yeah, she would love that she would love to have that filled out. And again, even if it's not 100, it's not homework. We're not going to grade you or give you gold stars or anything. But really, it's designed to be a tool to make you think about those questions. So when you and Christine meet for the first time, usually you kind of talk. I'll give her some of my notes that I took here today, but she kind of wanted to get to know you guys, get to know what your plan is, what your end goal is. And then especially I think that it would be great for Ronza because you're kind of like, I'm not sure what to do. She is definitely a calming force where, she can, okay, let's take a breath, let's think about it, let's strategize, and then how do we get from where we are now to that first milestone or, to the next month if it's money, whatever that issue is. She's great at really customizing the conversation because you might all have, different goals at the end of the day. Obviously, we want to have the business launched. We want to be making money. That's great. But you all might have different end games, right? So that'd be great. And yeah, I'll reach out to all of you to see if you want to schedule, either Ryan or myself will. But you're always more than welcome to reach out to Christine directly as well. That's why her contact information is up there.
I do have a question. You said this PDF was part of something that we could find on, where could we find the form? I wasn't really clear about that.
Oh, in your GoToTraining pane, the one that shows like the attendees' names and things like that, there should be a section that says materials, and it should have a 1 next to it. If you expand that, you should see a PDF. If not, I'll make sure that goes out in the email as well, but there should be one that you could just download straight from here. But if not, I'll send it out. Not a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we have that option. We see all the attendees.
That's so weird.
But I don't,
it shows up in mine. Okay. Well, I wonder why. Well, I'll make sure that that gets out to you. I'm not sure why that's not showing up in your guys's.
Huh.
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
Maybe it's my settings or.
Yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
Oh no.
yeah, I'm not finding it.
Do you even see the option that says materials?
Where would
Nope.
it be?
Do you see where it says there's one that says audio,
Right.
and then there's like attendees, and mine at least I think mine looks a little different than yours, but it says attendees and then materials right on top of each other.
So we have audio options, attendees, and send feedback. That's what we have.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I have a chat window.
Yeah, it should be above that and below the attendees. Interesting. Yeah, it shows up in my. Oh, that's okay. I'll make sure that you all get it. It takes the computer